Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Johnston County Planning Board meeting, August 18th, 2026. If you will, please stand. Do pledge allegiance, and Mr. Williams will lead us, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is to approve of the minutes from the July 21st, 2026 Planning Board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion by Mr. Sasser, second by Mr. Williams to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is subdivisions. Anyone that's here for the subdivision that's going to speak tonight, we ask that you be sworn in. So if you would, please raise your right hand, stand and raise your right hand if you plan on talking. Thank you. I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do.
Thank you. First one on the agenda tonight is the, Todd, you want me to go ahead and talk about Massengill Crossing?
Yeah, if you'll just mention that, please.
So, if you're here from Massengill Crossing subdivision, that subdivision's already been approved. So that one, we're going to disregard that. It got onto the agenda by mistake. It's a long story, but if you're here for that, I want to save you some time. That one's already been approved months ago. So the first one we're going to talk about is Boose Home Road Tract.
That's correct. If you'll notice, I passed out the maps, and this is considered a major subdivision. It was because the original parent tract was split into 3 lots in December of 2024. So this is the 4th lot, which would make it a major since it's within the 5 years. And that's the second map in that, the one right behind the one that's being proposed. Boose Home Tract owner is Ricky Massengill and Teresa Blackman. No developer was listed. The surveyor engineer was James Peacock. It's 5200 block of Strickland Crossroads Road in the Ingrams Township, served by Blackman's Crossroads Fire District and 4 Oaks Rescue. It's 1.15 acres, 1 lot, private well, individual septic, and traffic count 1,600 vehicles per day. That was in 2024. There were 8 property owners notified of the meeting. It does not appear on the road does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as it appears as a secondary road with adequate design capacity and no noted improvement needed. There is direct driveway access onto Strickland's Crossroad Road, which is not allowed for major subdivisions, and it's also got 4 more lots, and where no easement exists and the parent tract have direct road frontage, a easement shall not be allowed. It must dedicate a right-of-way meeting the requirements of the section in the design manual, but a waiver may be allowed if determined by the planning board that there is a hardship created upon the property and there's no benefit to safety, welfare, and quality of life to the public. You can waive that.
Todd, did you say the first one, this one is the original?
That's the original. That was
The one that's got original?
it was a parent tract, yes.
And then there was another lot added to the next one?
Yes, they kind of right there at the front near the road. It looks like they just added a 1.15 acre lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyone here to like to speak in favor of this subdivision? Please come forward. Give your name and address, please.
William Boose, 304 Sharpsburg Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. We just like the tract so we could build a home on it.
So what was the reason? I guess my question is, you're going just to get another, you're trying to get another lot into that tract?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions for the gentleman? Now, did the 3 original lots, did they all serve individually on the road?
The 3 individual lots were originally 1 lot, and then I believe 2 years ago were purchased and split up into the 3 lots, and they are all have road frontage.
So you don't currently own this?
No, ma'am.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions for the gentleman? Thank you, sir. Anyone here like to speak in opposition?
just like to say one thing
Yeah,
that
come and give your name and
help y'all
address,
maybe
please.
understand it a little bit more. What this is a family farm.
Can you give your name and address?
Ricky Massagill, 5344 Strickland's Crossroads Road, 4
Thank
Oaks,
you,
North
sir.
Carolina. What it was, is it's a family farm, and all we're trying to do, I'm trying to give my daughter and son-in-law an acre lot to build a house. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
But because of the guidelines and everything else, we got to jump through the hoops, and no problem with that. And we bought the tract, me and my son and my daughter bought the tract, and paid a lot of money for it to keep the subdivision out, to be honest with you. And instead of leaving it, we split it. It was owned by my two cousins, and they never split it. When we bought it from them, we split it. And then my daughter wants to build a house, and so I'm trying to give her a lot, and that's all it is to it.
So there would be eventually four lots here with four individual homes.
But I guarantee you're not gonna be a subdivision,
I understand. Yeah,
and that's all I have.
okay, thank you,
Thank
sir. Bring back staff.
Staff recommendation was denial because it doesn't meet for a major subdivision. However, if he did wait a couple of years, it would be allowed to do it without going through planning board approval.
Right.
So that would be the only reason for denial.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Motion made by Ms. Howard for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Satcher. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Thank you, sir.
Next up is Break Tract. Again, this was it's a one lotter that was the original parent tract that split into 3 lots as a minor in November of 2025, just like the last one. The map is provided in there for you. It's Break Tract, Break Construction, Inc. The developer's Paul Gorman. Stokes Surveying and Mapping is the surveyor engineer. It's 9501 and 9505 Harper House Road in the Meadow Township, served by Newton Grove and Fire District and Benson Rescue Squad. It's 2.99 acres, 1 lot proposed. Johnston County Public Water, individual septic, 700 vehicles per day. That was in 2024. There were 5 adjacent property owners notified. Harper House Road appears on the comprehensive transportation plan. Secretary Road with adequate design capacity and no noted improvement needed. Just like the last subdivision, it does have direct driveway access on Harper House Road, which is not allowed, but you may waive it if there's a hardship created upon the property that they could prove. Other than that, it looks like if you'll just look at your map, you can see that they're just shifting the lines down to add that last lot.
Are the driveways on Harper House, is that, those driveways, is that shared between those, or is that, or is it individual driveways proposed? I see 2 proposed. Okay, I think I got it. I think.
Yes,
There's 3.
One,
2 on the Harper House.
Yes, and 1 on 50.
Yeah, there's 1 on 50 and 2 on Harper House.
Okay.
And that goes along with the parent tract that's still there, has its own.
So one of those lots, 2 of those lots will share a driveway? No?
No, it looks like there's 2 driveways on Harper House Road, and then 1 for the new lot that's coming off NC 50, and then the parent tract that's the leftover, it has its own driveway.
I got you.
So-
Got it. Okay. Any questions for staff? Anybody here like to speak on behalf of the Break Tract? Yes, sir. Give us your name and address, please.
Paul Gorman, 11125 Cleveland Road, Garner, Break Construction. Simple, it was split into 3 originally by the previous owner. They sold, I believe, the house beginning of the year, this year, separate from us. We don't own that, and then we just bought the 2 individual lots. So,
Gotcha. Any questions for the gentleman?
I want to make sure. You're just proposing, you bought lot 2 and 3, so now you're just turning those 2 lots into 3?
yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Anybody here like to speak in opposition? Bring back staff.
Again, just like last subdivision, this was denial just based on the fact that it doesn't meet the requirements for a major subdivision. However, as stated before, if it was not within a 5-year period, they'd be able to do it as a minor without having to come for planning board approval.
Yes, sir. Any questions for staff? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Crenshaw, seconded by Mr. Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Thank you.
Okay, next up is Sanctuary at Morgan Ridge. This also has a map behind it because, as you see, this does not have road frontage, so it connects to a subdivision called Estates at Morgan Ridge, which was 62 lots that you guys approved in May of this year. And so that map is in there right behind what's proposed tonight. It's the Sanctuary at Morgan Ridge. SS Sauls and Sons is the owner. Developers Jackson King Road Developers LLC. Surveyor engineer is 4D Site Solutions. It's 2500 block of Jackson King Road in the Pleasant Grove Township. It's served by 5210 Fire and Rescue. 38 acres, 10 lots proposed. Johnston County Public Water individual septic. Traffic count for that portion of Jackson King Road was 2,200 vehicles in 2024. Jackson King Road appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as a secondary road with adequate design capacity and no noted improvement needed. The parcel is not within the ESA, environmentally sensitive area. However, a floodplain appears on the parcel.
How are they connected? Or is there,
It's turning the cul-de-sac. If you see where, on the old map, you'll see that the cul-de-sac to the north, right there, where if it keeps running out, that's the Saul's property that he's going to. So
at
they're
around-
just basically,
25, lot 25.
right.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Anyone here like to speak on behalf of this subdivision? Yes, sir. Your name and address, please.
Scott Brown, 409 Chicago Drive, Suite 112, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28306. Here on behalf of the applicant, I'm with 40 Site Solutions Engineer and Surveyor for a project. We submitted the estates at Morgan Ridge, the one we were having access through several months ago. We're wrapping that design up and should be submitting it sometime over the next week or so. And this piece of property became available. My client didn't like the idea of getting big lots out of it. Like I said, there's only 10 lots on the 38 acres, so there are large lots. And it would be served behind the estates at Morgan Ridge. It have its own kind of entrance, kind of a little kind of different neighborhood, a little different look than what the estates at Morgan Ridge will, but it will be served with Johnston County water, individual septic. We've had the soils looked at, and the soils do work for all 10 lots. And just looking here tonight to get approval for the preliminary plat so we can continue moving forward. Be glad to answer any questions that the board may have.
trying to figure out how this
I'm trying to
matches
figure out
up?
where it is.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
So it comes off this, it's going to come, this is going to extend. That's around lot 25.
Yes.
Right here.
That cul-de-sac that
Yes.
Bryce was pointing to a while ago will be extended into the property. That right there. Yep. There's the entrance. Yes.
Okay. So, like this.
What is the CA one?
It's a common area.
Okay, that's the part you're going to use?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Is there a separate mail kiosk or?
No, we're going to enhance the kiosk up front on the one that states at Morgan Ridge, and it's big enough to pick up those 10 additional lots, so the mail carrier won't have to drive all the way to the back. They'll be able to come up front.
It's basically like
So which lots exactly on the are they doing away with?
We're not doing away with them, we're just pushing the lots. So those lots are big lots out there anyway on the States of Morgan Ridge. And I can't see the numbers from here. It's one of the common area lots and lot 25, I believe.
So you're gonna go in between the two of
Yes, ma'am.
those
Just
and
those
do
two.
away with the cul-de-sac?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It'll have a temporary cul-de-sac on the end for permitting purposes for, in order to get, DOT allows to permit it, but we're immediately, as soon as the plans are done, we're gonna construct it. So that cul-de-sac may not even exist before we get the plans done. It may just push all the way straight through. But it would be basically that road will be stubbed into that, Saul's property that, Jackson King Developers has already purchased the tract for the States at Morgan Ridge, and they're in the process of purchasing the Saul's tract.
So this person that's requesting this also owns these?
Yes, ma'am.
These
Yes,
lots?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The same developer.
Are y'all gonna put a pipe under the road or some kind of bridge,
Where at?
where this stream crosses?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. There'll be a pipe, I don't know how big, it'll have to pass the 25-year storm event for DOT. I don't suspect it'll be a bridge.
Okay.
It'll be a pipe.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone here like to speak in opposition? Bring back to staff.
Staff recommendation is preliminary approval, subject to conditions and requirements in the staff report.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Crenshaw, seconded by Mr. Safter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Thank you.
Okay, up next is Bluegrass Road Tract. Its owner is Ashbrook Farms LLC, developer CRH Land LLC. Its engineers Becker Morgan Group. It's 1300 Bluegrass Road, south of Old Dam Road in the O'Neill's Township, served by Shoe Hill Fire and THS Rescue. It's 81.75 acres, 26 lots proposed. Johnston County Water, individual septic. Traffic count is 250 vehicles per day. That was in 2024. There were 8 property owners notified surrounding this property. This portion of Bluegrass Road appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as a secondary road with adequate design capacity with no noted improvement needed. This parcel is not within the ESA, however, a floodplain appears on the parcel. If I could say one more thing, in the, if you'll look at the conditions on number 25 for parks and open space, it needs a little change. After discussing with Parks and Open Space and our attorneys, it should say, instead of requires, it should be requests a minimum 30-foot easement outside of the 100-year plain. It's something that may be required in the future, but they're requesting it this time because it's not been approved.
Is that something we need to include in a motion?
If you will, just whenever you make a motion. Just change the word from requires to requests.
Any questions for staff? Anyone here like to speak in favor of subdivision or for the subdivision?
Good evening. I'm Donnie Adams, professional engineer with Becker Morgan Group, 314 East Main Street in Clayton, North Carolina. And our firm handled the planning and we'll handle the engineering should we get approved tonight. Project in front of you, straightforward, cul-de-sac street. We're proposing 26 lots. We do meet the requirements of subdivision ordinance, and should we get approval, we know that we'll go through the process with NCDOT, Johnston County for erosion control, stormwater, and the public water system, and any other permits that may pop up along the way. But So it will be engineered to meet the standards. We have provided a CBU location in the cul-de-sac. And as usually stated, we are aware of all the conditions that have been put out there and appreciate Mr. Marr's statement on 25. And so I do want to make a statement on behalf of my client. So he's in favor, obviously, of the open space specific to Greenway trails, but at this time, he does not desire to hand that easement over. At this point, whenever it gets to the point when Parks and Rec are working on the process, and he just wants to be in the group of neighbors as they go through and start securing that land, and he'll be in conversations at that point. So, with that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
It looks like there's an existing structure on lot one. Is that an occupied structure, or is that being purchased too, or?
So my client owns the land, his family, and so that will be a lot. And we spoke, and as usual, I always ask for everything to be served internally. So this driveway will be moved internally. We're not trying to request that it stays out there, so no problem, but it'll continue to be there. Yep. And not that it necessarily has anything to do with the with your approval, but again, my client, that's family land, and so there'll be, more than likely, he's going to leave the last 4 to 6 lots for some time and be a family land share setup, I guess, yeah.
Any other questions? Thanks, sir. Anyone here like to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am. You give us your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Connie Pittman-Hallman. I live at 1540 Bluegrass Road in Selma, which is actually at the end of Bluegrass. This is just a little ways up the road. And Bluegrass Road, I have several questions. Do you want me to ask them individually, or ask them all and then you answer them? How do y'all want me to do that?
We can go one by one. How about
All
that?
right, let's go one by one.
And if we
Okay.
don't know, we'll get you an answer.
I'm sure you'll get me an answer. Okay. I don't, the property that is beside this property, Kirby Marshburn, has a subdivision which y'all approved in 2024 for 60 houses. So you've got 60 houses next door to what is going to be 26 or 27, 28 houses, and let's say there's 2 cars per household. That's a lot of traffic on a short road that is a T intersection at each end. So when you get to the end that I live on, which is that old dam, you go up to 39. At the other, you go left to go to Shoe Hill. So we're basically blocked in. This is an extreme amount of traffic, in my opinion. When Kirby Marshburn's property was subdivided, approved, there was no turn lane. So there's also not going to be a turn lane on this property either?
No, ma'am. That'll be a DOT call, but their threshold is 4,000 cars a day on a secondary road.
We're
So-
not there.
Yes, ma'am,
I'm
that's
sure.
correct. You
Okay.
got to exceed the 4,000.
Okay, so is there any concern as to where the driveways are for this subdivision and also the next subdivision next door? Because they're actually, side by side. So these lots 1 through 13 back up to the new subdivision, and then I'm actually on the opposite side. I'm on the other side of the subdivision, so so there's no concern, there's no,
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what my question is, but you see, if you have a driveway here and 10 feet away, you're gonna have another driveway, you're gonna have a lot of ins and outs.
Well, the standard for DOT is based on what the traffic is on the road. And for that volume of road, I think it's around 300 feet spacing between the 2 drives. And as long as they meet that, they'll be okay.
Okay, so No HOA?
I'll ask that question for you.
Okay. Okay, that's that. Traffic count. And there's no open space for this? I don't see anything that's any open space?
I'll ask that too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's all.
Okay. Bring it back to the applicant, please.
All right.
Name and address again.
Yep.
Okay. First one was the HOA for this property. The lady had a question about, is there gonna be a HOA?
That is a question that I don't know 100%. I believe there's a level that where in North Carolina, you're required to have an HOA, which I think is around the 20 mark. Don't hold me to that. So if it's required, then obviously so.
Okay. And you talk about open space?
Open space, so we are proposing fee in lieu of open space.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. Pay in lieu of?
Fee in lieu, or they're not gonna have any proposed open space, but they're gonna pay amount to the county in lieu of having that open space.
Can I speak again after this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I understand you correctly, or did you say that the developer has no desire to do the 30-foot easement
I
around
said
the
it.
100-foot, the 100-year floodplain?
I said at this point, he
Uh-huh.
does not desire to have it a condition of the
Right.
subdivision approval, but when it's time in the count, because I'm not sure of the date, I think it's well out there, but.
Yeah, it looks like it, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, so,
So
okay.
at that time, when the county is going out and securing their easements along there, then he'll actively engage and participate in that discussion.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Adams? Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do I need to say my name again?
No, you're good.
Okay, so I just have a concern, and I think this should concern every person that lives in Johnston County. These are two subdivisions. This is 60 and 30 houses and a lot of people, and we're not setting aside anything for recreation for anybody. I live on a farm. I don't want all these people running up and down my farm, you know, playing and having a good time in my fields, and this is basically a scenario that could happen. Also, the property goes down to the river, and we're the wildlife, the beauty of it all, it'll be gone. So those are my concerns. When y'all say pay in lieu of, who do they pay? Where does this money go? What happens? I mean, you know, what happens with that money? Is it just a fairy tale somewhere?
I'll let staff answer that. They can answer a lot better than I can.
All right, and those are my concerns. And my concerns are, when y'all do subdivisions, please consider, rather than paying in lieu of, whatever that means, there needs to be areas for people to go to. We're a small little road, we're a small little community, and we are being, you know, it's changing our whole lives.
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Braxton, would you like to talk to the?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I certainly will. So, fee in lieu of payment is exactly what it sounds like. They are paying a fee, which is, for this development, I believe it came in like it's $1,000 per lot. This money goes into, goes into one large pool, one large pot, and it is meant to either purchase property or improve property for recreational purposes throughout the county. A percentage of the money, a larger percentage of the money, is actually dedicated to the high school district in which it is generated from. So that revenue that's generated from that district, that's where it stays. A smaller portion of all the revenue that is taken in on an annual basis is held for countywide usage. So some of that goes into regional parks or preservation of open space, such as recently you may have heard of the Rose Dairy property out on Devil's Racetrack Road. It could have been used and it actually was. We used some monies to leverage that along with TLC to preserve that property for public use at a future date. The Cleveland or the regional park in the Cleveland area, Johnston County. So those are the things that it works toward. It also, once again, goes back into the individual communities to improve existing recreation areas or create recreation areas within those areas. And we have done something in the last 7 or 8 years that that the county's never had before. We've created a parks department. So we have extremely experienced and dedicated staff there, and they are working feverishly to create more opportunities in unincorporated Johnston.
But it is an option that the county has allowed.
It is certainly an option. It is not a mandate to have to require the 15% be set aside in the developments or improved. So once again, the monies aren't just out there sitting and not doing anything working for the people. We do it on a periodic basis. Our parks program actually puts an RFQ out or RFP out for different organizations in the county and including some of the smaller towns to utilize those funds so they can serve the public with recreational opportunities.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
You said that was $1,000 per lot?
Yes, that's what the fee was for the fiscal year ending in June 30, 2026. This application was submitted during that fiscal year, so it's $1,000. It is currently today, it's $1,200 a lot.
Are those fees prorated for larger lots at all, or is it just a flat?
No, it's flat fee per lot.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else like to speak? Bring back staff.
Staff recommendation is preliminary approval subject to the following conditions and requirements in the staff report with the noted change in number 25 of request but not required 30-foot easement.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion made by Mr. Crenshaw.
A second.
Are we gonna, the motion
You're gonna make
includes
about number
the
25.
requests rather than required?
Yeah, he mentioned it. I can say it, but he did.
With the.
Yeah,
okay.
all right, motion to approve with the language change in condition number 25. Change the word requires to request.
A second.
Motion made by Mr. Crenshaw, seconded by Ms. Howard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Thank you, sir. Now we're to our 6 p.m. public hearing, special use case. I'll let you explain that, please.
Okay. Yes, this is a special use for a property. This is something that will just be a public meeting, public information meeting. There will not be a vote for this to go to the Board of County Commissioners. It's just to let the public know, and then the Board of County Commissioners will vote at their meeting. But the planning board does not have to vote on this. It's just for the applicant to hold this.
And is that case 2603?
That is case 2603. That's the only one that will be a special use.
Okay, thank you.
This is a petition to add a special use to a 31.003 acre parcel located at 435 Taylor Road in the Cleveland Township that is zoned agriculture residential. Its owner is Winfred Craig Andis. The applicant is AnthemNet, Inc. Its special use request is a telecommunication facility served by 5210 Fire and Rescue. The existing and surrounding uses are agriculture residential and used for those purposes. Traffic count for Taylor Road is not available, and it appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as a secondary route with adequate design capacity and no noted improvement needed. This area is located within a designated low-density residential place type on the county's Envision Johnston Comprehensive Land Use Plan, and this was sent to the county's technical consultant, Cityscape, and they have reviewed this request.
Any questions? Anyone here like to speak for this facility? Yes, sir, if you give us your name and address, please. Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tom Terrell. I'm an attorney in Greensboro with the law firm Fox Rothschild. I'm here tonight representing a company called AnthemNet. I would like to very briefly go through the materials that I handed you, since ultimately this is an evidentiary hearing and the materials I gave you were all based on that evidence. I would like to open by saying 35 and 40 years ago, I was representing companies throughout North Carolina back in the 1G days. It was before we had cell phones. You had, many of you might have had what was a car phone mounted to your car. And the rooms that you had to make these hearing presentations in were just filled with people who did not have phones. They had never used a mobile phone or a mobile device, and they were furious that there would be anywhere in their community a tower for that purpose. But 35 years later, we have gone through a revolution. The Pew Research Center recently published some data where they broke it down by state as to how dependent are people on mobile phones and smartphones for the local economies and culture. North Carolina, 87.4% of North Carolinians generally own a smartphone. That number goes to 95% when you add in people who have a phone that's dependent upon these towers, but it's not a smartphone. That number goes even higher when you back out folks who are older than 85. On the other side of that equation, only a little more than 40% of homes these days have a landline. Interestingly, that number plummets when you are only looking at people who are 65 and younger. So this is a look at what mobile phones are. Chances are statistically, every single person in this room has used a smartphone, not just once today, but multiple times today. I know from experience that there are probably people behind me who are on their phones as I speak to you. This is how prevalent phones are for everything from just looking at what time it is to counting our steps for how far we walk today. Now, the county decided that this is not a legislative decision, but a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing. So we have handed up these materials. I'm going to very briefly ask Mr. Kirkland later to address one of these. But before I walk you through these very quickly, I did want to explain the process, because I think a lot of folks don't understand why towers go where they go. Tower companies don't make this decision. This is all carrier-driven. It's the carriers who have to maintain a network because signals are handed off tower to tower. It's a very complicated process. So when you have a hole or a gap, and in this case, the closest towers are between 1.6 miles and 3 miles away, it creates issues in the broader network where the handoffs don't take place. Now, there could be somebody in here who's within this radius who has perfect coverage on one of these carriers in their home. That does not mean that the carriers are not experiencing trouble, and that's when they reach out to a company like AnthemNet and say, we want you to fix this. So AntlemNet came to the county. The county, as you just heard, hires a very well-respected third-party reviewer called Cityscape. AntlemNet has to pay for them. You don't pay for that. But what they do is they analyze the coverage to make sure that the coverage is needed. They look at the tower construction to make sure it's going to be built to your standards, to FCC standards, to state building code standards. All of that type of determinations have been made by Cityscape. And because Cityscape has already signed off on it, that's why your staff has a report that recommends favorably on this. If I could just take a couple of minutes to go through this evidence on standard number 1.
Yes, sir, and if you just, I appreciate that, but just as a reminder, it's not a hearing, it's whatever's for the public knowledge is what we're looking for, but thank you.
Thank you. May I just very
Yes, sir.
high level go through
Yes,
these?
sir, absolutely.
Okay. And I will address some other more interesting
Okay.
things, I think. The standard in Johnston County is, are we promoting public safety or maintaining public health? I think when you don't have landlines and this is your only connection for most people, to their medical records, to their health data, to calling 911, we're in trouble if we don't have an adequate network. I mean, that has been the case actually for a long time. That is not new. Do we promote the general welfare? I don't think this is an argument that I really need to make. I think if everybody were to pull out their phones and look at all the apps that they have just used today, you will see people who are running their business on these things. I run my law practice on this. So whether it benefits general welfare, I think is pretty self-evident. On standard 2, Cityscape has already made that determination. I'm going to ask Mr. Kirkland to come up and just do a very high level, just so you know we've addressed that and so the public can hear about the property values. But on standard number 4, I don't need to read through these, but we do take seriously when you say, is this consistent with our land use plan? I went to your goals in chapter 3, and of 15 major goals, 8 of them cannot be reached if you don't have an adequate digital infrastructure. 100% of your economic development goals require a digital infrastructure. So I think that is pretty clear. I would like, before I sit down, and get Mr. Kirkland here, I want to say a couple of things. I think you might hear that folks saying, but I don't want to see it. From a standpoint of evidence, we have cases in North Carolina. Ms. Coates could probably tell you about Blair Investment versus the city of Roanoke Rapids. It says, it's a cell tower case where our courts have said, if you think something's ugly, that's a subjective opinion. It's not evidence in a hearing like this. You might hear that some trees have been cut down. That is true, but those are not trees on this site that are between the homes and where the tower would be. There's a good 800 to 1,000 feet of mature trees between where the tower is and where homes will be. And you might hear that some folks did not get notice. It's actually, the part of the problem is your review is so thorough and so well documented, it took a long time. The letter that went out that said we're flying a balloon test to show how high it would be, that was back in February. So people might not remember that, but that was the notice that said it would be a 199 foot tower. I'm going to ask Mr. Kirkland to just hand up his report and just do the high level so folks know the answer on property values. And also, Ms. Fournier from the company is here, and she'll come up in case you have questions of her.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
So, my name's Rich Kirkland with Kirkland Appraisers. I'm a state-certified general appraiser.
Give us your address, please. I'm sorry.
9408 Northfield Court, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Thank you, sir.
I've been doing work in North Carolina for, well, as appraiser for 30 years now. Yeah, 30 years. I'm an MAI designated appraiser, which is the highest designation put out by the Appraisal Institute, and I also have the ARA designation, the Accredited Rural Appraiser, by the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. I'm also certified in 17 other states because we do impact analysis on a wide range of different properties in multiple states, looking at just property value impacts for things similar to this. We've done, included with this report, we can see that we've looked at examples. We've done matched pair analysis, looking at homes in proximity to cell towers, just to see if there's any impact we could derive from that. This is a standard appraisal technique. It's taught by the Appraisal Institute. It's supported by uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. And it's a tool that appraisers everywhere use for determining adjustments you would make. In this case, we're just determining, is there an adjustment you would make for a cell tower being close? The closest home that we measured to this cell tower is 710 feet away. We have numerous examples of homes much closer than that, showing no impact on property value, even when they're in proximity to taller towers. The data we've presented supports finding no impact on property values based on this proposed use, and I'd be happy to go into greater detail or discuss anything further if you'd like.
Anyone got any questions for the gentleman?
And if it's helpful, there's a chart at the back that kind of summarizes the sales data points. I could direct you there if that helps simplify things. On page 28, you can see that the towers where we looked at sales data points, and you can look at, we worked up a ratio between the height of the tower and the distance, and you can see that the ratio of the height of the tower and the distance, this is at the low end of the range, which means that it's further away compared to the height of the tower than most of the examples we looked at.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Whoops. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Karina Fournier. I work directly for AnthemNet. Just high-level kind of summary of what we're doing. We entered into a lease with the Enuses. They own a few properties on Taylor Road and several acres, and my understanding is they've been in that area for many years, them and their family. We're proposing to construct a 199-foot tower, which is 195 is the top of steel, and then we have a 4-foot lightning rod. The tower will not be lit. We comply with FAA and got clearance from that. We have a 50 by 50 compound area at the base of the tower. It will be surrounded by a chain link fence. I believe the county requires landscaping as a condition of our approval, which is no issue for us, so we'll install landscaping around the perimeter of the compound. We have Verizon as the anchor tenant for the tower, and T-Mobile will be the second carrier on. Both, we submitted the letters of interest for both of them. We'll be doing it's a 20-foot wide access and utility easement that we have from Taylor Road to the tower itself, which is, we are partially in the trees, so it doesn't affect his, he does some farming on the property, so we're in just slightly into the tree line for the tower itself. We do a 12-foot wide gravel access road. And as previously indicated, we worked with Cityscape. I think the process took about 8-9 months. They had several questions we answered. And I'm available for any questions. Oh, we did a balloon fly as well and a visual impact study that was submitted. And that might actually be, and I'm sure some of the public might want to see the actual photo simulations from that.
Tell them what each photo is.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was the visual impact study. It looks like these might be the simulations themselves if you go up. But, yeah, I mean, there were numerous spots that it's not even visible, the tower. There were a couple locations. That's the point of the balloon fly with the visual impact study to show. And if you go up more, yeah, there's an actual map that shows and it highlights where it's actually visual yeah, I don't know if it's in the earlier sections, but
So for my simple mind, the balloon goes up and you go to these properties and see if you can see the balloon. Is that correct? From those
correct.
properties?
We hire, there's engineers that actually go out, fly the balloon, and they go out and take photos from those areas, and they're able to simulate based off the balloon. So it's an accurate depiction of the height of the tower based on the tree lines.
Okay.
So I think these are just the simulations. There's an actual visual impact study that we have to submit as part of that. And then they show where it is visible based on foliage and when there's not foliage as well. And that was submitted as part of our application. If there's any questions for me, I'm available.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
As people come up, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to be clear that I've checked with staff, and there was a notice of public hearing that was mailed by the county as required within the timelines for the ordinance for special use permits. So I'm not sure what Mr. Terrell is referencing about notice, but with respect to the public hearing notice, those notice requirements have been met.
It was
If you'll come
info
up-
from, I'm
If you'll
sorry,
come up and talk, please, sir.
it was information from the carrier.
Gotcha.
It came in February. And I'm referencing a comment that I heard before the hearing from a neighbor. And so that's why I said you may hear that notice was inadequate as carrier.
Okay.
Or tower company.
Understood. Perfect.
And
Thank you.
before we get to the public coming up, just remember, please, in the interest of your time and ours as well, I want to hear from everybody that has anything to say, but just make sure that you're not repeating something every time somebody else has just said, because it's going to the record. Once we hear it the first time, we're good. But with that said, we'll open the public hearing part for the folks that are in opposition.
I have a question.
If you'll come up, ma'am, and give us your name and address, and we'll try to get you an answer.
My name is Marilyn Boveris, 1208 Adams Point Drive. I'm not here for this case, but I noticed there's an Adams Point listed there. How does that pertain to our development? What impact would that have in Adams Point?
I'll see if I can get you an answer.
See, right there, it says Adams Point Drive, 425 Taylor Road. We're not here for this case, but I live in Adams Point, and I would like to know how is this relevant and how would it affect our development?
You live in Adams Point
Yes, we
subdivision?
do.
Different part of the county, Braston?
Yeah, it is, what you're seeing here, this is Taylor Road, this is where the side of the proposed side of the tower is. I think they're calling it Adams Point is the project name. But I'll let the applicant respond to that, but I think it's just the project name.
Yeah,
It's not the
but
development.
I just need clarification if it's the development.
That's correct.
Okay, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else?
To oppose?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do.
If you give us your name and address, please.
George Stevens, I live at 7017 Scarlet Lane. We just had the picture up. My property is in the bottom. Well, that last picture would have been good, but my property touches this 30-acre tract.
Okay.
So I do have some concerns about it. I noticed some information passed out. The only thing that we really received is, from Johnston County. It doesn't have any details. And I know the attorney was, I guess, trying to have a meeting before the meeting here by asking me questions, but that's kind of interesting. He's also trying to sell you a cell phone plan or something, I don't know. But I have a lot of concerns. I know they mentioned the height. Specifically, I would like to know, I guess it's going to be a 50 by 50 foot area, specifically on the Enos's land, where it's going to be. I know they showed some pictures there and said it's not visible. I know during hunting season, I can see the Enos's tree stand right up there in the corner of that cleared field there where they plow it and cut it sometimes. So I'm guarantee I'm gonna see that tower. So some of my questions was the flashing lights. I know she answered some of that. Some of the other things was the noise. I know that sometimes there's a buzz or a hum from electronic equipment and from cell phone towers. So for me, I moved there because it's at the end of that cul-de-sac. I know I have some neighbors there at the end also. We moved back there for the serenity of it. It's nice. There's a creek down there that actually runs between our landline. There's fish and crawfish, there's turkeys, there's deer, there's all that stuff back there. So to look out my back door and or my window and see a big, huge cell phone tower is not going to be very good. As far as the noise, I don't know if there's anything or to ask of the county that is there any type of regulation in place that keeps the noise decibel down? Generators, I'm sure it's going to be on a backup generator. I know minus the power outages that they do routine tests. Is there a schedule for that? Is it going to be Sunday night, midnight, something like that? She mentioned the foliage, the coverage a little bit. I guess that would help mask the sound if there is any sound. I don't know if the county has anything in place where there's a certain requirement for that. So. The other thing, like I said, was the nature, the wildlife. We have a lot of wildlife in there. In the creek itself, I know during construction, there might be heavy equipment. There's going to be noise. So I'm kind of concerned about that. What is it going to do to the wildlife? And heaven forbid we get any type of runoff or anything down into the creek from the construction. I'd hate to see, anything happen to the little creek that we have there. That's mostly it. I know we had, I was thinking about the fall zone because I really didn't know how far back it's going to be, to our adjacent properties there. But it seems like it is going to be a little bit further up. But don't let those pictures fool you. We're going to see a tower. If I can see his 25-foot deer stand sitting there on top of the hill, we're going to see that tower. So I just hope that there's no flashing lights or anything like that. I know, like I said, I moved back there because it's nice and quiet. For me, that's perfect for me. My kids enjoy it. They enjoy the creek and everything. And so as far as, the attorney was talking about, the cell phone coverage and everything. I got 30-plus years in telecommunications. I work from home. I use Verizon and AT&T. About 12 years ago, 11 years ago, yeah, the coverage was kind of spotty, but, I don't have 5 bars, but I have 5G there. It works fine. One of those photos actually show you, I'm at the very end of the cul-de-sac, and my house is actually down maybe 150 foot from that creek. So my house is actually down 20, 25 feet down. So I don't know where they got these surveys from or, their data or their information saying they need cell phone coverage. I hotspot my phone. I work from home. I get on Zoom calls, hotspotted through my phone. I don't have any trouble. So, but anyways, I just wanted to voice my concern. I don't know about the property values either. I don't have an appraiser to come up here to back anything up. I just know people don't like the eyesore. I know some people think could be health issues. I really don't know if there's any type of research or study out there. I know some people are concerned if they get too close to electrical equipment, high voltage electrical equipment, or cell phone towers. They do emit frequencies and EMF. So I don't know. If I try to sell my house, that might later down the road hurt my chances. Maybe somebody's concerned with that. So, but like I said, I don't know for sure. I don't have an appraiser to back me up on that. So, but that's it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I'm Brendan Olson. I live at 161 Behringer Drive. I'm actually neighbors to this house right here. And so I just wanted to say a few things just kind of off the top. One, it's it's not a current picture because there's a for sale sign. So I don't know when that happened and what they're trying to portray with that, because that wasn't taken the day that that fly test happened. And I also kind of want to point out the topography of that land. We sit really low in a cul-de-sac. You drive up and then you kind of drive down. So 200 feet, yes, you might not see it, but like when you're up, it towers over the trees. I mean, it's not like just barely, you're seeing it from afar. And if anything, I would think that the property owners that got the notice are probably the ones that aren't going to see it the most, because we're going to be down in the ditch and it's going to be kind of above us with the trees. So really, one of my complaints is just kind of how this all kind of came to fruition, because I don't live adjacent to this property land, so I never got a notice in the mail. No one ever contacted me. This is a very rural street that these people live off of. I know there was like a permit case issue sign on the street, but I mean, 2 people probably drive down the street a day, so no one saw the case number or when to come here to talk to you guys. So I'm somewhat upset about that, just because I feel like if this was out and actually portrayed to the public a little bit better through mail or, you know, what have you, probably more people probably would have showed up today, to be honest with you. And I just want to piggyback off one thing that the gentleman over there said. I've lived here for 13 years. I've never had cell phone issues. So, you know, they can say all the time that things bounce off networks, but never an issue. So that's just all I have to say. Oh, one other thing too. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what the next steps are in this process, because I just have no idea. You know, obviously you guys were passed out forms. There's stuff in this packet that he's scanning through that obviously we haven't had the privilege to see. So I just kind of want to know, like, what the next steps are, where do we go from here? And then also, are we going to be privileged to get this information that's on these screens?
I'll try to get you that answer. Thank you, sir.
It'll be October 5th, Board of County Commissioners meeting
Okay.
will be the next step.
Yeah.
Is that open to the public?
It is.
And is that,
I can address that. So yes, October 5th will be the actual hearing. Just remind everybody, this is not a hearing, this is a public forum for you to learn of the project, find out information. But the official hearing is October 5th before the Board of County Commissioners, and they are the decision-making body. If beforehand you'd like any of the information you see in the agenda packet, we are glad to provide that to you. If you will send an email to planning@johnstonnc.gov, we're glad to get that information to you. With regard to public notice for any type of land use action or consideration, North Carolina General Statute simply states adjacent properties only. We go beyond that. We do anything within 150 feet of the property boundary, the subject property boundary. So we make that extra effort to make sure that's done. I'd be glad to answer anything else.
Regardless of where it is in the county.
Regardless of where it is in the county, yes,
Okay,
sir.
I was just making sure.
Yes, sir.
can I come back?
Yes, sir.
I guess my question for that is, we stand in front of you today to kind of argue our case, but it seems like the county commissioner is the one that votes on this, so how does our information get portrayed to them? And do we have a chance to say our piece to them as well?
Yes, sir, it's a public hearing.
Okay.
That's a hearing. This is a forum, but that's public hearing. That's where they'll actually hear your arguments.
Okay.
It's a quasi judicial, which is an evidentiary-based hearing. So we have to have substantial, competent, material evidence presented.
Okay,
Yes.
appreciate it.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name's,
Wait till you get up here, please. Thank you.
so my name's Phil Harrell. I live at 169 Behringer Drive there in Garner. So are we going to, so we have to write to you to get this information prior to the October 5th hearing in order to have voice, because obviously by the time it gets to October 5th, it's a done deal. You guys have already, they've already made their decision.
No, sir. No, sir. The decision gets made after either at or after the October 5th hearing. The Board of County Commissioners does that. This board takes no action. We're providing this venue, this evening for you to get information about the details about the project. Yes, if you'd like the information we have in the packet, that's something we generate from staff and that's submitted with the application. We're glad to provide that for you. If you just simply send us an email, we're glad to provide it to you.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of information here that we're trying to digest in a few minutes, really. So my house actually my property does back up to this, and I probably have the biggest frontage there, and I'm probably one of the houses that are within the 700 and something feet of the tower. We will see that tower. My concern, as my neighbor said, you know, is there health issues, or, you know, what's the health issues potentially with the EMF? Are there, you know, what's it gonna do to the wildlife? What's it gonna do to the stream? What's it going to do to our neighborhood?
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
Just adding to what Mr. Newton said, the ordinance specifically states that no part of the forum or recommendation may be used as a basis for the decision made on each case when it gets to the Board of Commissioners. So folks are hearing about some of these things for the first time tonight, and that's not unusual. I mean, that's what's contemplated by this whole process, that people would be here. The applicant may be hearing things for the first time tonight as well. So if you will email planning@johnstonnc.gov, you are welcome to receive any of this, and you can do that tonight, and I'm certain that staff will have that to you timely.
Thank you. Yes, sir, come back.
I did email planning@johnstonnc.gov 10 days ago. I think, I'm not sure, are you Todd?
No.
I talked to Mark. They actually responded to me right away. Yeah, you did, yeah. But that mailer does not get a response.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, so I guess my question is, we're done with our part. Of the, and I'll
October
just say,
5th.
good, you know, free advice is, you said that the applicant may be hearing some of these things for the first time, and I hope y'all took some of the questions that they have and kind of will address those at the county commissioners meeting in October. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, you got rezoning and conditional zoning cases. Case 2604. Let's let the room clear out just a little bit.
Okay, this is, 2604 is for a straight rezoning, which basically anything allowed in the general business district on our table of uses would be allowed on the property. So there's a petition to rezone 8.13 acres located at 488 Old Drugstore Road in the Cleveland Township from agriculture residential to general business. Its owner is Jamie C. Batchelor and Patricia J. Ainsley and James G. Batchelor Jr. The applicant is James G. Batchelor Jr. It's served by the Macklemore Fire and CNS Rescue. It's zoned agriculture residential and appears to be a vacant residential single-family dwelling. Surrounding land uses, there's a couple of residential and agricultural properties. There's also many general business properties such as an insulation company, restaurants, auto supply stores, etc. Also, Adams Point is directly to the, I think it's the south of there, and it's zone AR, agriculture residential special use district, and that's just a major residential subdivision. The reason it's special use is because it does have sewer service. Traffic count for this portion of Old Drugstore Road is 9,100 vehicles per day. That was in 2024. Old Drugstore Road appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as recommended for modernization. And if you look in on your staff report there, it shows what the typical road will look like after the modernization. This property is also located in a designated regional mixed-use center, future land use place type on the envisioned Johnston 2040 comprehensive land use plan. This would be intended for centers of activity that includes retail, restaurant, service, office, civic, and institutional uses. Residential units may be within this at the periphery of the development, but are not the predominant use. There were 16 notices sent out to adjacent property owners. And again, this is not like what we've been saying with mostly conditional zonings. This is something that would allow it to change from agriculture residential to any use that's allowed in general business district.
Which we would take a vote on.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, any questions for staff? Anyone like here to speak in favor of this rezoning? Favor first, please. Yes, sir. You give us your name and address, please?
Sure. My name's Rodney Dunn, 202 West Stony Brook Court, Benson, North Carolina, 27504. I'm actually an adjacent property owner to this parcel. I know that some of the commercial stuff that's on the main road on that backs up to this is actually under development as well. There's a section that's just past this that's mixed use residential and commercial. So there's commercial embedded within that. I think it'll be a good addition to the area. I don't know exactly what their plans are, you know, as far as the actual property layout, but as an adjacent landowner, I'm in support of it.
Thank you. Anyone here for the owner applicant? Yes, ma'am.
It's hot outside, but it's really cold in that corner.
I'm freezing.
I don't think I've heard that today. Go
My
ahead.
name is Michelle Odom. I'm with Hometown Realty in Clayton, and I represent Jimmy and his sisters. And the reason for coming to want to have it rezoned is it's been the family, it's where he and his sisters grew up. And they've held on to it. If you drive by, you just see an old little house that's grown up, and they're at the age where it's like, you know, we're thinking about selling it, and I think it was just beneficial to have it rezoned for the value of it. And so, and actually Mr. Jimmy flew here from Las Vegas with his wife to be here tonight. So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
the reason why we want to have it rezoned.
Any questions for?
Are there any there are no current plans to do anything?
I'm just gonna sell it. We just did the general, and Mr. Jimmy was open to anything the county needed or wanted it to be. Would you like to say something, Mr.
I'm James Batchelor Jr. Grew up in the land. Sorry, a little shaky.
Can you give us
Long
your
trip
address, please?
I live at 8597 New Grove Lane, Las Vegas, Nevada. Military's drug me around a few years.
Understand.
Since my son finishes school, I hope to come back here as soon as possible. My sisters and I, we're aging. We have some special needs children, and we'd like to provide for their financial security if we could with the sale of the land. My father was very happy to live there for over 40 years of his life, and he loved to see his family provided for as best he could. We would like to see the land developed so it suits and helps the county grow and the residents of the old drugstore area and the Cleveland school area. And that's what we saw as an opportunity maybe to do that as well, as sort of give to the community if we could. Not to sell to the county, of course, but as it developed, as maybe a developer sees a best fit for the county, if that makes any sense.
Yes, sir. Any questions for the gentleman? Thank you, sir. Before, Braxton, can you give us some ideas of what constitutes a business in zoning? I mean, I guess I'm asking, you know, can you give me some examples?
Of potential uses,
Yes,
of
sir.
permitted uses. So you're looking at pretty much anything retail for the most part. That could be mercantile, it could be restaurant, it could be fast or quick service versus full service restaurant. Quick lube would go into that. If you can imagine, even auto mechanics garage would work in a general business.
Okay.
Also, medical office, and that's the converse of that, is medical office, business office, legal office, anything in that, in really that classification would work as well.
Chemical manufacturing plant?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell some things they can't put there.
So, yeah, so manufacturing, warehousing, unless it's small scale associated directly with a business, something like, it could be a general contractor could locate in there, or say a trades contractor, could locate in there, but it would have to be, obviously, that's a different scale. Scale of the parcel's relatively small, so your scale's not gonna get so large, so warehousing is not gonna work.
Nothing like we've seen on Pierce Road, which is
No.
in the general
No,
vicinity of this.
and if you'll see on the screen, it's almost a perfect blue square there with the buildings, and it's newer. That is the Merritt Properties development.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that would happen. So that's more of a flex facility. And you can see the scale of that. The scale's much different.
And that parcel is the one with the dotted line, the one we're talking about is the one with the dotted lines?
That is correct.
Okay.
Are there any adjacent commercial, I'm kind of familiar with this area, and that end of Adams Point, it seems like there's been a couple of recent commercial developments right up that way.
There is one immediately adjacent to it. Then as you come back toward the south on the property, down Old Drugstore, you'll see this area here. Even across from it, everything in red across from it, and a lot of what you see across from it in the red is going to be trade contractors and things of that sort, service related, even it's developed over the years. And that is Shipwash Drive. That development's been there for several decades now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Now, opposition. Yes, sir.
My name's Adam Parrish. I'm at 1216 Adams Point Drive, Garner. And myself and Miss Marilyn, we probably have the most frontage, 1216. We moved here probably about 2 years ago, and it's in a cul-de-sac. It's a nice quiet little area with the trees. Obviously, it's agriculture and residential use. But I think anybody wouldn't want any type of general business being put in their backyard. We have a daughter as well with medical needs, and she's legally blind. She has cystic fibrosis. She's nonverbal. She's immobile. Seizure syndrome, Lennox-Gastaut, you name it. She was a premature baby, and we just had Make-A-Wish build us a playground in our backyard that butts up to that property. And if it's general business use with her cystic fibrosis, I mean, we were just at a nursery 2 weeks ago, and at Smith's Nursery, and the farmer out there was dissing the land, and she needed extra oxygen for 2 extra days because she's on oxygen at night when she sleeps. So whatever general business is out there, if it's fumes from vehicles, if it's an automotive shop, oil change, whatever, chemicals are flying in the air. If it's a restaurant, loud noise, we already deal with Cleveland Draft House right through the woods and blast loud music all night. People are smoking cigarettes. There's bikers that hang out there. So we understand that, it's being developed around there, but it was nice that just that land right there was agricultural residential use, that we can have, a good area where there's trees, there's some serenity back in there. So yeah, I mean, I think probably the best bet would be if it was a medical office of some sort that wasn't be allowed, or if it was like on Shipwash Drive where it's just a trade contractor's office, they're closed at 5 o'clock, that wouldn't be too bad. Still, we wouldn't want anything to be built there, but, at the end of the day, we care, we have another child as well, but I mean, wouldn't be, I guess, a big issue, but, for our little girl, to, go outside and there's a lot of fumes or exhaust, loud noises, she's very sensitive to loud noises. So we obviously prefer it to be agricultural residential use, and I know our neighbors do too. So hope you guys consider that.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Marilyn Loveras, 1208 Adams Point Drive. I purchased in Adams Point 14 years ago. We were the 4th house to develop. We were told there would be no commercial buildup in that area. It was a big concern of ours because there was empty lots when you come in. That didn't hold up any truth. Now we're dealing with commercial properties built right in our entrance. We have a massive eyesore of a warehouse, commercial buildings, medical offices that have been pretty quiet from now. Now there's an auto glass place. I didn't purchase to live in a strip mall or in a commercial area. I moved to that area for the tranquility and the community feeling that it offered, being part of the Adams Point neighborhood. Throughout the years, there has been a lot of progress and development, especially on veterans. We're getting the brunt of that. I can hear accidents from my house off 42 all night, sirens, cars riveting, the Cleveland bar, the arguments, the noise, the music, not to mention, you stated that it accommodates 9,100 vehicles on that road. That road was an old country road. It was not designed to substantially take on all of this growth of overdevelopment and businesses. It's a 2-lane road. The recommendation for bringing it up to modernization, what would that look like for the residents there? Would the properties now be taken by eminent domains, the ones on the road there? I mean, how far how far back are you going to push us? My biggest concern here is that the traffic safety, the existing road has already experienced deadly accidents. I've witnessed, since I've lived there, probably 5 deadly accidents, head-on collisions, drunk drivers. I personally saw it from my kitchen window. That road goes from 35 to 45 to 55, and trust and believe that they're doing 65 on that road. The capacity is, like I said, it's not going to safely accommodate the additional volume of any type of traffic that's proposed for business if it's on a large scale. Now, the emergency access, the increased congestion could affect the police, the fire, the ambulance response at times. The quality of life, what Adam was speaking about. More traffic, we're already subjected to all of this building in back of us, in our corner, and now we're having to deal with more potential issues. More traffic, the noise, the commercial activity. It can and will significantly impact us. The infrastructure approval should consider whether the road improvements are in place before additional developments are made. You're taking a country road and now you're commercializing us. We're in a residential area. I understand that growth is imminent, right? I don't want it in my backyard. I don't want to see their buildings in my backyard. What about our safety concerns? There are safety concerns, privacy concerns. You know, it has to be a balance against public safety infrastructure, capacity, noise, impacts, travel, residents' rights to reasonable privacy and a reasonable quality of life. We already deal with massive changes on 42, which we hear. The main development, Adams Point, they're further up. They have no problem because they're all, they're within an area of no noise, it's just residential. We are on that road. And I hear that traffic. When I first moved there, I can sleep with the window open. I can't open that window. It sounds like I'm next to the freeway. It's all night, all day. Boom, zoom, zoom, zoom. Any type of business that's not aligned with a more quieter draw of people, such as what Adam said, medical, a business office. but we can't substantiate commercial businesses such as a restaurant, another garage, another tire shop. I mean, how many tire shops and Wawas do we need on Old Drugstore Road? Now you're going to expand to us? And I'm sorry, that gentleman said that he's for it because he's across. Those were businesses that were there, that little school. Then they built that senior living there. How does that affect us? My husband is a senior medically compromised on oxygen as well. One of the reasons that I'm there is because of the quality of life that it offered us when we moved from Colorado here. I do not want to have a major business in my backyard and have to deal with lights, noise, potential threats of, people coming on our property. It just increases all of, it just impacts us all in many different ways negatively. The impact on our property value, that's a big concern, and our taxes, our water. My property value is going to tank, and it's already tanking because of the commercial properties built when you come into my street. So I am concerned about the financial impact of my property value, the safety of my family, the privacy, and the fact that I did not move there to live in a strip mall. It's great for development and growth, but not on my street, not in my backyard. So I oppose any type of major business like a restaurant. I don't want I don't want a Wendy's in back of my yard. I don't want that smell. I have a lot of medical conditions myself that I'm under treatment for. This is not what should be coming back there. I just wish that there would be some sort of information presented as to what is planned there, other than it can be anything, surprise. I don't want to be surprised. I want to know what's coming up in my yard, because I have to look at it, I have to hear it, I have to deal with it. And I wouldn't probably be able to sell my house at any profit, because nobody wants to live in back of a strip mall as what we live now when we come in. It's basically a strip mall. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Charles Elder. I'm at the 1186 Adams Point Drive, Gardner, and I'm a resident right next to Maryland. And one of my major concerns, I did receive your notice about changing zoning from farm residence to general business. My major concern, once again, is what type of business we're talking about. And you gave an array of businesses and everything. My concern is, once again, if there is a business that's definitely not cohesive with our residential homes, it's going to be a big issue there. Then my major issue I have, what type of impact that business is going to have on the existing homes. Like, for example, right now we have, just like Adam had, we have some type of buffer between 36, Highway 36, and also the various noise that goes on. So whatever business that you may consider there needs to be continually have some type of barrier, some type of vegetation, some type of barrier that can have some type of noise barrier to help to consistently try to buffer the noise. It could be lighting, etc. So I want to, hopefully you do take in consideration what ramifications they're going to be with the residents and everything. So I just wanted to voice my opinion and let you know that this does have definitely a personal effect on residents. Okay? Thank you,
sir.
I really appreciate it.
May I have one more question?
Sure.
Charles just
Come up to the
reminded
front,
me of.
please.
I'm sorry. We're not the notice does not state how far back it's proposed. Is it 700 feet? Is it 150 feet from our backyard? There's no information of how far back does it go. What are the plans, like Charles said, to create a natural buffer to the residents that it's directly affecting? We just know there was a proposal to sell the lot. There are parts of that parcel that goes directly into my lot. You know, so that is a major concern for Adam and I, that where would that buffer be? How much of that privacy are we gonna have? How many trees are you planning to cut down? You know, right now we have a beautiful landscape of the trees. What's going to be in place? How many trees are you taking down? What does it look like for us? Am I going to go into my backyard and see see the business and the lights and all that? There's no mention of anything for us to make, to kind of have an educational or, a kind of conversation as to really what are we looking at? How does this affect us? Other than that whole lot is being sold for being commercialized. So we would like information on that. Is there anyone that can give us that information?
That was one of my questions for staff. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Preston, can you, I guess I got two questions. Can you discuss, and I'm gonna say currently, as we are today, what the buffer would be between the existing subdivision and if this is rezoned general business? What criteria does the county have for?
So there is a class, what we term as a Class B buffer, which is really right in the middle of the three buffers we have. A Class A being the least planted, Class C being the most planted buffer, most dense planted buffer. This is in the middle. So what that consists of today is plant material would be 2 large trees or 2 canopy trees, 3 understory trees, and 9 shrubs per 100 feet. That is today. Generally speaking, just from a development perspective, from a financial perspective, when you have existing vegetation or existing growth along an area that's going to require a buffer, you would typically leave it because it wouldn't make sense to rip it out and then replant. You're spending more money. So we always encourage them to design such that they leave that vegetated, that planted vegetation in place and supplement it if needed, but we don't want them taking it out. And so that would be taken care of on the back end. Since this is a general use district rezoning, once again, the permitted uses by right in accordance with Johnston County's table for permitted uses in the general business district would allow for any use in that table under that classification. They would have to submit at whatever time they determine whatever use they wanted there, they would have to submit a full site plan to our office that would be vetted not only by our office, but also multiple agencies within Johnston County and DOT, again, would take a look at it to see what type of road improvements would be required along the old drugstore to accommodate the traffic moving in and out of the property.
Right. And follow-up to that, let's just say 2 follow-ups. One is the UDO would not be less restrictive, it'd probably be more restrictive. As it is today, as we're discussing now, is that correct or incorrect?
That's hard to say because there's some legislation that was ratified almost 2 years ago now, which we refer to as the downzoning legislation. In that downzoning legislation, what it says is any new regulation we create cannot create a nonconformity with regard to any non-residential property. So currently today, this is not non-residential property, but everything in the red there you see is non-residential zoning district. We cannot create whatever regulation we have in place or standard we put in place cannot create a nonconformity for those. So that's kind of a slippery slope.
Okay. And,
It wouldn't get any, it wouldn't be any less, I can promise you that.
and if this property was developed as residential, would there be any buffers between like? So in theory, there will be no buffers between the two if it was developed residential.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
just, that's for my benefit.
And the density potentially, because this is in an outline residential sewer service area. So potentially you could have density very similar to the Hunt at Adams Point, or even more dense, in the future as we continue to migrate through our, proposed UDO. It could be even a higher density there. You could be even looking at multifamily, townhomes, so your density is gonna increase most likely if it was developed for residential purposes.
And if it stays AR, high density, no buffers.
That's correct.
But if we recommend changing this, mandatory buffers.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
What would the buffers look like?
Hey, I think he
I
explained.
didn't
Okay.
understand that. If you can explain that to me.
So two canopy trees, which are large trees, tall trees, very much like you see outside the window. Understory trees would be something similar to maybe a crepe myrtle. And then non-shrubs. So non-shrubs, it could be anything from a couple of feet high to 4 or 5.
And that's every 100 feet.
And that's every 100.
That's for every 100 feet. Those numbers went within for every
So
100 feet.
2 every 100 feet.
2, 3, and 9 within every 100-foot span, linear footage. Yes, ma'am.
But his point was that most likely the developer would leave the buffer that exists and just cut out the piece that he needs to develop the property, because, rather than tear it out and redo it.
It makes more financial.
Makes more sense anyway.
Okay, thank you for
Doesn't have to
explaining that.
plant it all again,
Thank you.
but doesn't have to.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'm Gary Pruitt. I live at 84 Awesome Ridge, Garner, North Carolina. I also serve on the HOA board in Adams Point neighborhood. I just have a couple questions, because I understood what he's saying about the buffer versus if it's zoned commercial or residential. If it's zoned for commercial use, to say, put a medical facility in there, how far off the property line, because that affects my granddaughter, my son-in-law that lives at 1216, how far off the property line do they stay if it's zoned that?
So Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have a 20-foot buffer or a 20-foot setback for either structure and 20-foot setback for parking as well.
That's correct. Which residential would be less than that. Residential would be possibly 5 feet
Okay,
from the property line.
gotcha.
I guess the biggest concern, and, you know, they talk about the infrastructure. I work in infrastructure. I deal with the road work industry. I have for 30-something years. The roads now can't handle the traffic that's out there. The roads now are in terrible shape. I mean, if you want to call that Veterans Parkway, 36, 42, it's broken all to pieces, cracked up. I mean, to me, they need to be focusing on better roads. Better roads bring better businesses. Better roads bring better residential areas. And when you look at the infrastructure around there now, the sides of the roads, the grass, how it's not maintained, it's not taken care of, I wouldn't want a business up there right now. What they've done up there now has been fine, but the flip side of it is, how many more Wawas do we need? How many more fast food, McDonald's, Burger Kings? I mean, it's not bringing in the right stuff in the area there. And those facilities that's built that he was speaking of, that was sold, that land that's in the Hunt side of Adams Point, because you have Adams Point, then you have the Hunt side. Adams Point acquired the Hunt side. So now it's kind of all one, but it still operates under the Hunt. Those lots were sold by the builder prior to building that neighborhood over there. He didn't clarify with the residents that his plans along Old Drugstore Road, he was gonna sell those, and they were gonna build a glass company. I think that building's been built now, somebody says it's gonna be an electrical business, possibly a CrossFit, I don't really know. There's a medical facility there. There's a physical therapy place there, and then there's the old child care center that was there before the neighborhood was ever built. And I understand about growth, but I don't understand about, hey, let's take 15 acres or 16 acres or what we're talking about, and let's just cram something in there because we have a piece of property that we can develop. You know, I know the gentleman's family, he spoke about, they lived there 40 years, great. He spoke about he lives in Las Vegas. Well, living in Las Vegas, I don't affect him. You know, I'm sure he had a great childhood and their family and everything there. But you have to take into consideration, if you truly care about the surroundings, you have to think about other people when it involves other people. And my granddaughter, yes, I'm standing up here today to say her medical and all the times we spent at Duke Hospital and the countless hours and the loss of sleep, it's bad enough as it is. And then you add that in, you probably don't have anything to look at to say, well, you know, we're probably gonna have to sell. You know, she qualified for the 500th Make-A-Wish Foundation. What could we do? Build a plaything. That's what she loves more than anything, to swing. She's gonna be 5-year-old this year. That's gonna be probably taken away if you go in there and start putting commercial property, or even if it's zoned for residential and it backs up, still doesn't help with the value of the property in there. But I would just ask that you take in consideration of what's been built in there right now. And, you know, I understand growth, but it's like every small piece of property, somebody just wants to build something. When I moved down here 7.5 years ago from the western side of North Carolina, I think there was one oil changing place on 42. And then a 3-year span now, I think there's 5 places you can get your oil changed within 3 miles of Adams Point. So I don't know who's making decisions on what goes where up there, but I'm like, bring something in that's of quality, or something that's peaceful, something that doesn't disrupt the neighborhood or the neighbors. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Bring back staff.
Well, ideally, and our recommendation was to, the applicant to have it as a conditional rezoning, so it would kind of better fit in. Staff's recommendation is approval due to the fact that it is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan and is in a regional mixed-use center.
And just to be clear, we're going to take, we will make a recommendation, but it's only a recommendation to the county commissioners.
That's correct.
The county commissioners will make the final decision, and that will be.
On or after October 5th. It'll be scheduled for October 5th unless.
So I say that because if whatever we decide, you know, it's just a recommendation, so I would recommend that you come to the county commissioners meeting.
And if you got a notice before, you will get another notice.
Thank you.
For that meeting.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I know the answer to this question, but in recommendation to the county commissioners on approval, is there any way to put a requirement of, say, 30, 50-foot buffer around any existing residential? Okay.
No, it's possible if it was a conditional that they agreed to, but as a.
But just a straightforward rezoning, we can't make that?
That's correct.
Okay.
And Todd, what was the reason for not doing a conditional zoning?
They did not respond. I think it was just due to indecision on what possibly to do with it in the future.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that?
It's pretty much whatever, if it needed to be conditional, we would go conditional. We just want it rezoned from agricultural to commercial. So if it was needed to be conditional for the residents to make it better for them, we're all about that. We just
Well,
wanted it rezoned.
and what could happen is if they want to continue on with the specific rezoning, general rezoning, they could do that, as long as they came back with something different, like a conditional zoning, they could reapply.
If it was denied.
Right.
Okay.
Ideally, it would be a conditional.
And
To be honest, we haven't seen a general business or a straight rezoning in, since 2024. Almost everything's been conditional.
And I'll just say, I think that gives some more clarity of what you're dealing with.
Correct, because they, at that point, what they will do is either, if not do the specific use, they will come up with a list and can strike through anything that may be like a bar, a nightclub, a auto service center that stays open till late.
It's not as open-ended.
Correct.
Okay.
Because they agree to the conditions, set the conditions and agree to them, and then abide by them. And they also have you would have before you a site plan that shows the setbacks, which shows the overall site, how it's going to be if it was a conditional zoning.
Got it. Okay.
So is that only facilitated through a denial at this point?
Well, at this point.
Can't be tabled?
Well, it's not, it's a recommendation at this point.
Right, okay.
Right.
But as far, we can't table it for that, then send the recommendation, or?
No.
One way or
So
another.
it's a distinctly different request.
That's right.
So if it's if there's substantial change.
Right.
Then there'd have to be a new application and the process would begin anew.
Gotcha.
That's just kind of the way it is. The conditional
It's an
zoning
up or down
process.
vote, right?
It still is a legislative action,
Regardless.
but it is
Right.
site plan specific. There are conditions that are applied, both proposed and potentially negotiated and applied to the use or development of the property.
Makes sense.
And so, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, Darrell.
So for the neighbors, if we deny tonight, it will still be heard on October 5th.
Yes.
But the commissioners will be told it's our recommendation.
That's right.
To deny, but they can choose what they would choose to do with it beyond that.
They have the ultimate decision, yes.
So just for the neighbors' understanding of how that works.
I have a quick question. How long, let's just say hypothetically speaking, we recommended that it be denied. It's still going, like you said, to the October 5th County Commissioners meeting, and they deny. Or let's just say the current owner decided, we're just withdrawing and we're gonna do we're gonna request conditional zoning at the time we get it, get some interest. How long is the process, just ballpark? Is it usually take about 3 months, 6 months from the time somebody applies for conditional zoning for it to come back into the steps? How long does that take, maybe?
Generally 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6, okay.
That's generally. Now, it can be delayed due to it just really depends. Conditional zoning, because it is site plan specific.
Market.
They could, the board could get extremely, want more detail about the development. There could be questions or concerns that comes up about the site design itself, how that's gonna function. You may ask for more information, therefore it may be tabled, could be tabled. We've tabled, this group has tabled issues for 3 months in some situations. But 3 to 6 months, generally speaking.
Okay.
And the conditions follows the property for the life of, okay.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to deny with the expectation that this will come back as a conditional zoning at some point.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Crenshaw to deny, seconded by Mr. Sasser. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
Just remember, October 5th,
October 5th, 6 PM meeting.
County Commissioners.
And Mr. Williams, you were the.
All right. Case 2605.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a conditional zoning for case 2605. It's a petition to rezone 13.83 acres of a 17.03 acre tract located at 200 block of Andis Road in the Pleasant Grove Township from agriculture residential to general business conditional zoning. Owner is Mitchell Life Estate and SS Sauls and Sons, Inc. Applicant Stillbridge Crossing. Conditional zoning requests for two different, it's auto storage on the side facing Andis Road, and then auto sales on the portion that's backs up to NC 50. It's served by the 5210 Fire District and Rescue Squad. It's zoned agriculture residential and is a vacant lot. Its surrounding land use is zoned AR and is used for residential and agricultural purposes, and zoned MHPD and is a mobile home park. Its traffic count for Andis Road is 1,200 vehicles per day. That was in 2024. It appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as a secondary road with adequate design capacity, no noted improvement needed. It's within a designated low-density residential place type on the envisioned Johnston comprehensive land use plan. There were 16 notices sent out. A pre-application meeting was held with the applicant in June of this year. That's it.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Thank you, sir. If I hear from the applicant, please. Your name and address, please.
Hey, good evening, board. Carlos Bagley, Freedom Firm. I'm the engineer of record, 63 Watkins Road, Clayton, North Carolina, 27520. And try to keep it simple. We're proposing outdoor storage as part of this for the community to put, HOA. Everybody asks, do we have an HOA? And to put boats, RVs, recreational vehicles. There's a couple storage places there. We believe it's close to the regional node in this area off 50 Highway, a few miles from 50 and 210, and then 50 and 42 or 36 or
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've grown up here, so 42 in my mind. So let's just see. I'm gonna try to keep it simple. We're showing some plantings. We're involved now doing some buffer work and stuff. I've shown a pond right there, but it looks like we're going to have some wetlands, so we'll have to adjust that. But we'll have to take up some stormwater and go through the process once we get it rezoned. And of course, we're doing conditional zoning, like the application says. So we feel like it's coherent with the land use plan. And if y'all have any questions?
Carlos, I see a lot 1, 2, and 3. Is that 3 separate things that it could possibly be?
Yeah, so lot 3, the back lot, that's the outdoor storage.
Got it.
Okay. And then the one that fronts 50 is a standard car lot.
Got it.
And then the other that we're leaving.
Reserved.
Reserved, and probably just gonna do like 3 residential lots in there.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not proposing to do commercial there at this time. So we're looking to rezone, I guess it's lot 1 and.
1 and 3.
1 and 3.
1 and
Yes.
3. Okay. Just making sure. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir.
I got one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
From, can there be any, work done in an outdoor, like automobile repair, or is that allowed when it's called outdoor storage?
No.
It's not.
So no active,
No, it's strictly for the storage and keeping of whatever is approved. Whether
Okay.
it's RVs,
Boats, whatever.
large trucks, large vehicles, there's no more than
what about on those vehicles or boats or anything?
not on that site.
If RVs are being stored there, were there any conditions that nobody could stay in that RV or anything of that nature?
I would hope so.
We would suggest that, yes, but no, they would not be able to, one, because it's not permitted, it's not a permitted use to begin with.
Would it be something as part of a motion that you would like to see?
It would be helpful,
Okay.
just.
We wouldn't be opposed to that.
What about lighting?
Lighting, we get a do lighting plan to keep it off the neighbors and a photometric plan when we go through. I guess once we get approval, we have to go to the Braston and Plan Department for site plan approval, stormwater and all that.
Yeah, lighting would have to be down, or down lighting in dark sky.
Right.
No wall packs or lighting
And-
that's gonna be directed.
And that is listed on as one of your conditions.
Okay.
Just as a clarification on lot one, if this were to be an integrated business or something like that, could you take something out of storage, go work on it at the sales yard and then bring it back or something like that? I guess, or is working on a vehicle allowed as part of the?
It would only be on that part that's listed for.
On lot one.
I mean, we're proposing two different
Okay.
uses, not connected, integrated together, I guess.
Okay.
One off Andis Road and one off 50 there.
To Rob's point earlier, I think when we looked at another one of these previously, it would not have like a dump station for the RVs or just storage, no structures, like a gravel or
There's one
paved.
across the street on Church Road, there's a lot of fleet vehicles, commercial, and just standard gravel with security and just stored, yeah.
24-hour access for those that store.
I guess that depends on the owner. I don't know how, I hadn't had one, but I guess so.
Is that something conditional, Preston?
Yes, that's.
Hours of operation?
That's what we did last time.
You are, so once again, with conditional, you have the ability to negotiate or propose additional conditions. The applicant has to agree to those conditions, both by verbal consent in this case and then by written consent on the back end.
Cause do you know what the hours of operation that you think? I'm guessing we're talking about the storage more than the
Yeah.
car lot.
Yeah, I feel like we could, handle that through site plan, but Brass, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the hours of operation, I'm not familiar with the storage. I could find that question out for the commissioners, but I mean, the car lot, I would say 8 to 5, 8 to 6, 8 to 7.
Right, that makes sense.
But I mean,
What do you remember, Chad, what we talked about on the store, on the other one, we talked about storage? Same,
Like 9
Preston,
o'clock
do you
maybe, or
remember?
8 o'clock. Yeah.
I remember I didn't think it was late enough.
I remember the same
it was
thing
like
because when you go.
9 o'clock, I'm
Yeah,
like,
when
or
you
8
go to
o'clock, who's gonna?
outdoor storage, let's just say hypothetically speaking, somebody's coming in from the beach and
On Sunday
they
night.
stay there with their boat. And, I mean, I
Maybe-
drive at night.
maybe
A lot of people, it might be midnight before they get there to put their boat in
Or
because
if-
they have all these automatic unlock things now.
And if it's fleet vehicles, they could be coming in at different hours too.
Or they may leave out early in an RV.
Right.
Midnight.
And if you remember with the last one we did, it was almost directly across from, was it West Johnston? It was, the school was right there, and all the folks. So I don't know if that necessarily is a concern here, because it was more traffic and school buses.
The residential backside, Bob, that's why I asked.
I understand.
A lot of backup lights, if my bedroom's facing it, and a lot of backup lights, or, that road, they have a boat, an RV, and something else, and 3 or 4 vehicles coming in at the same time.
Do they have buffers? Would they have buffers as well? Okay.
He shows a lot of planning.
Yeah.
So the standard is Class B buffer, but once again, we can negotiate an increase in that buffer or request an increase in that buffer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
if you see the wooded area,
Yeah.
that's gonna be wetlands. We're not on that. Those lots that are adjacent, Craig Ennis, he passed away now. That's his properties back there on 50 Highway. So we wouldn't be proposing to go in there and cut the trees down. We'd want to use anything we could. We're not just gonna cut trees down just to cut trees down.
Okay.
So, and if, you know, I don't have, this is not my owner, but, I mean, if I own this place, I would have my customers, and if they need to call me and get in there at a certain time or whatever, they could, so.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone like to speak in opposition? Guess that's a no. Bring back staff.
Our recommendation was denial due to lack of adequate conditions to mitigate compatibility with surrounding properties, and also that it was in a low-density residential place type. I think that, you know, we would like to see a few things like limits on the number of vehicles that could be stored outside at the auto repair place. You see a lot of them that just stack them all the way up to the right-of-way. It's just stuff, also the lighting. We did put it as proposed by staff, but we would like to see that. Also, how many vehicles are we talking about? Are we talking about 500 vehicles in that open storage lot, or, you know, we'd like to kind of see
A little more
a
detail.
condition set.
So-
Correct.
Is there an option to table this to get that information from the applicant? Would that be something the applicant will be open to?
Can I speak to that? Sure. I know where this conditional zoning is new and used to, it was in open zoning like the previous case. Y'all know that anything could have happened and come in there. And then we go through site plan approval, so we don't have all the details necessary. So I just, we're willing to do whatever y'all want to in favor, but we just want to get the information we need to, we're doing a rezone, you know, we're not, and then we're gonna go through site plan, so.
And we did have a preliminary meeting. It was, I don't know if all of the, both of these uses were talked about at length, but we would be more than willing to, if he does want to, table and consult with us on some additional conditions and speak with the applicant. We wouldn't be opposed to that.
I will speak for myself. I would like to have the answer to the questions you ask prior to myself making a decision.
And
I agree
what
with
was those
that.
questions though?
Is how many vehicles are we talking about on the car lot? You know, do we have something more specific about how they're gonna be arranged on the car lot?
Is it bumper to bumper, outdoor storage, you know, lined up 500
And then
cars?
on the outdoor storage, or, you know, with the, to Chad's question, there is some residential on that side, especially that one house right there for that one.
Yeah.
Is there any, you know, openness to have more, buffer in that area to kind of close it where everything else is wooded except for that part, to close that in? I mean, just some more detail, I think, would help.
With the driveway placement, it would be hard, in my opinion, to store stuff there anyway, but you might be able to back something in, or, you know, parallel or something, so. And I guess a question for staff, the last applicant you said was a no response. This isn't a no response, we just haven't had these lengthy conversations.
We had a pre-application meeting. I don't think that they knew exactly the answers to those questions at the time, and it was turned in. We did send the site plan back for some revisions, and Carlos did get those back to us quickly after he turned in the application to make it a more adequate site plan. However, the conditions are still something that staff thinks needs to be addressed a little bit.
For sure. So, yeah, my point was tabling, if it's a no response, that is a response in the business I work in. So I didn't want to table something with no response, just kicking the can 2 or 3 months.
Right,
But
I understand.
if they're willing to come to the table.
I mean,
Yeah, we're proposing a 10-foot type B buffer, and you guys tell me, I kind of would rather just get your approval recommendation basically, and then go to the commissioners. Maybe we can work something out between now and October 5th and not put it off another. Because we got 2 months, 60 days, we could, whatever you guys wanted, so that would kind of be my thoughts.
Okay, that's up to you.
Well, okay, I have a question. If it is rezoned to what Carlos is requesting, do we have the rights in that rezoning to say this is the maximum amount of stored vehicles?
Only if he agrees.
If he agrees.
Excuse me?
If he agrees.
It's conditional.
As a condition?
You can propose conditions, the applicant has to agree to the conditions, both verbally and in writing. If the applicant doesn't agree to the conditions, it's purview of the board, and they say, I don't want to approve it without those conditions being in place.
But it still goes to the commissioners?
It still goes, your recommendation, that's it. Your
And see,
rec-
my
your-
problem with that is, that's 10 acres. I don't know how many.
Yeah, how many cars do you say? Let's put this condition on.
I don't know that.
You could-
You can't do that.
I mean, you can lay it out.
Is it
I
100?
will say that the property that's to the north, when, this one here, when this came in, they had a layout of showing how the vehicles or what the storage lots or parcel, or I guess storage spots will look like. Generally speaking, what you're seeing on the screen matches what I recall that site plan.
It is.
So it's pretty close, but you can lay it out. And it may show, and we've had others where they show, okay, they had larger, deeper parking spaces for, say, RVs.
Correct.
Or larger
Boats,
vehicles. And then
whatever.
they had smaller ones for your small cargo trailers and your equipment trailers and utility trailers.
And again, at the time of site plan, I mean, it's gonna have to be approved by emergency services also to have rows, so it'd kind of be better if we had it during the conditional zoning phase, but it's not something that they will not be able to access because it's gonna have to have rows big enough for emergency vehicles to get down.
Right.
Would you recommend, Mr. Little, tabling it? And how would that go? How would that table it till?
So they have to have a date. If it's tabled, there has to be a specific date of your next meeting or whatever.
30 or 60 days.
So it could be 30 days, your next regular meeting is 1 month from today, 2 months from today, whatever.
Yeah, it would be September 15th is the next meeting.
That's entirely your decision, but I would stand by what for me personally, I'm not speaking for everybody. I would want a little bit more information to make a good decision, other than just a 10-acre area that I don't see a layout on. Now, I know that's gonna be covered later on during the site plan, but for me, that would help.
Okay.
It's kind of the cart before the horse.
Yes.
And if we table it,
I
or, I'm
agree.
sorry, if we deny, send it to the commissioners to deny, and they deny, what's the time frame for reapplication? Just to fix some of these.
So per ordinance, they have to wait a year unless it's a substantial change, right?
Right.
However, is there not statute that's, I'm not sure if it's floating out there or if it was ever ratified.
I'm not sure that it's been ratified either, but what you're talking about is not coming back here with the same idea with more details. That is not a substantial change. That's an application with the details you're asking for.
Right.
So in other words, we could table it 1 month. They give get us all our answers. We approve it. Chances are county commissioners approve it. And we don't have a year turnaround.
It'd be over in October.
It's a 1 month delay.
And
2 months.
work with staff to answer.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Work with staff to answer some of those questions.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Well, can I have-
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, because I think this conditional zoning thing, so it's relatively new. I know it's not new within a year, but it's just there, and I understand the purpose of it.
have a motion?
We like that
I'm
it's
better
come with
clarified.
conditional zoning.
I'll make a motion to table,
September 15th.
till September 15th.
Second.
I was trying to get the number.
Have a motion made by Mr. Sasser to table till September 15th, seconded by Mr. Holloman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, have we got some,
Oh, yes.
Can we do them all at one time?
Oh, no.
Do we ask that every month?
Every month.
Let's make sure Kim signs on the right place.
This thing is the answer to change.
All right.
You know what to expect.
Can I ask a question before you go into that, Mr. Chairman? Since I was not here last month, am I supposed to be, vote on this, or am I okay to vote on this?
You can vote on it because you can read the decision. You may see
Correct.
something in there that's glaring.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. I won't hear you.
Have the Cuttington Kinsley Tract decision denying major subdivision application.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Mr., who made the motion?
Williams.
Williams, I'm sorry. Second by Mr. Sasser. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Okay. Sampson Tract, a written decision approving major subdivision application with conditions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Sasser, second by Mr. Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? I'm 2 for 2 on signing in the right spot. Sagewood, written decision approving major subdivision application with conditions.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Mr. Williams.
Second.
Seconded by? Who seconded?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chad.
You're fine.
Mr. Holloman, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Harper House Tract, written decision approving major subdivision application with conditions.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Sasser.
Second.
Second by Mr. Crenshaw. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
Aye. Chad. Did I miss it? Oh, I did miss it. The joke there is I've signed it in the wrong place a couple of times anyway.
September,
Yeah, we know, we saw it
Yeah.
on TV.
September 15th.
September 15th, next meeting, to have a motion to adjourn.